My offense, in the afternoon class, I was telling you about a procurement committee. Somebody chaired the committee. We happened to be in the same unit. He was heading another unit while I was heading a unit. At some point, we were called. We were given a task. Database was to be expanded to bring out some information. I don't want to mention the specific information. And a vendor was to handle the expansion. We were asked to look at the viability of the project, the transparency involved in the usage of the vendor, and the cost effectiveness. On viability, I asked a question. By the time we expand this database with this information, how do we apply it? They could not tell me. They said the people who asked us to do the job will be the one to decide the application, the usage. So we couldn't decide on viability based on usage and benefits, because from the response, it means the answer is external to us. So let's now assume that those people will do justice to it, that it will be beneficial. Let's leave that one. On cost, I asked so many questions. They told me the millions involved for a number of extraction. And I asked, how much are we paying per data, per extraction, per line of extraction, per an entity, an individual? They could not tell me. They say we just give it, we give the project to a vendor. The vendor will now be talking to. The vendor is not the one doing the extraction. He will now look for a company that will be extracting the data that we need and be giving to us. So the vendor can be giving the person 1 naira while he's charging the company 200 naira. What if we go to places or to people that can give us the data direct? We'll be saving the company cost, and there will be more efficiency and effectiveness. What is the name of the vendor? And many other things I asked, they could not provide. It took time for us to get the name. What if in trying to fetch the data, only 90 or 70% were successful? How do we manage the cost? The answers were not satisfactory. Then I said, okay, what of if we do like others have been doing? If you look at your mailbox, you see some spam mail. Some people will be advertising certain things. They will be advertising a number of things, and you'll be wondering how they got your email, how they got your data. In actual sense, there is a place where they get data. You sign some documentation, and you be committed, or you commit yourself to using it legally. We can do that too. At the end of the day, from all indication, the project will not be viable based on the information provided, on cost effectiveness and transparency. I was shocked. This woman, with another member of the committee, they did a report to say, yes, they should go ahead with the project. I did the minority report. I give objective position to say no, this thing is not viable based on this, based on this, based on this. They had to expand the committee membership. They now added a lady from the legal unit and another man from the finance unit. By the time they sat, we were now 5. Those other 2, they agree with me. They actually recommended that we should look for an independent company that will be giving us this information. We will save money. And the fact is that the way the vendor they were trying to use was managed, it was clear that there was no transparency. Which means I was right in the first place. That woman picked an offense. That same woman who was the chairman of the procurement committee was the chairman of that committee. When we were together, they asked us to bring a plan, audit plan. So many things happened. I don't want to be talking in this class about, I don't want to be talking about them. And this man chose us as an enemy, was started competing with us. At every opportunity, he will go at variance. There was a time we were in a committee. My junior, or my direct report, not junior, my direct report needed a laptop. He made his request. We were in a committee. We needed to allocate laptop to people. Use laptop by some people that they handed over to the company for reallocation. This woman, I was there, she was allocating the laptop. We were 3 members of the committee sitting at that time, out of about 6 members. He was allocating laptops to other departments. Good laptops. And by virtue of what we do, what we needed at that time for my direct report was one of the very good laptops. This was the same woman. About the time I was leaving, she did impress. She gave everybody 50,000 naira. Although some people had different amount, like 2 million. Only me, she gave me 30,000 naira impress. That was what she assigned to my office with 4 direct reports. Somebody without a direct report, who was also my junior, was allocated 50,000 naira a month as impressed. After I left, this was the same woman who was telling the company that they should collect my the external disk drive. He said because we bought it with impress. But this same woman was there. She didn't say anything. When some people resigned or retired, they were using official car. They only use it for 2 years. They went with it. The policy says if you had used a car for 2 years, you have to return 50% of the value when you are leaving. There was no evidence that that was done. This woman did not go after them. She did not recommend that they should collect all those things. She turned herself to a competitor. She would not cooperate with us. At some point, we needed to write CBN to get a clarification. She refused to cooperate with us. I had to sign the letter with my colleague. After she discovered that we got results, she now started on her own, secretly started writing CBN. When we nearly got there, we asked this woman. She has been the one doing the investigation for them. She was doing it in the body of the mail. Meanwhile, I had my own template of report where you write introduction, you write summary, you write step taken for your review, your findings, your conclusion and recommendation. I asked for a template, she couldn't give me. There was no template. They were using email body. I released my template, that's what we were using. From there we became. So we are talking about IS audit challenges. And those things actually give us issues. So I'm not saying all these things to discourage us. I'm only sharing things we saw. How people can unnecessarily become a rival. At some point they said we should be reporting to the woman. She was my junior by grade. In terms of experience, there was no basis for them to do that. But I never complained, we were performing. Until after some time, they brought in the other man who was giving everybody problem. So those are the things you'll be seeing in IS audit.